One of the big things that we Sonic fans are always clamoring for is remakes and remasters because the gaming industry is such in a rut that we have to focus on them re-releasing games from the past. And the Sonic community is no exception to that rule. There are plenty of times that us Sonic fans have been asking for games from the older generations to be brought to the newer consoles. And what I wanted to do is go over some of the ones that I think could potentially be remastered and come over to the new console generation. We are talking about remasters today, not remakes, but we will touch upon remakes as well. But for now, I really just want to talk about remasters. So, if we look at the remastered games we've had so far, we've had Sonic Colors, which was initially on the Wii, that got ported over to a bunch of different consoles with Sonic Colors Ultimate, and then we've had Sonic Generations, which was on the PlayStation 3, Xbox, that generation of consoles, and that was ported over last year to the new generation of consoles with Sonic Shadow Generations. So, Sega has taken two of the two games that you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can understand why you'd want to port those because they're on older consoles, even though it's like the PS3 is now considered an older console. Oh god, but they make sense, right? They make sense. They are pretty well received video games. Okay, I can understand that. They also made a collection, Sonic Origins, which brings all the Genesis games to newer consoles with the Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, and then Sonic CD brings them over to modern consoles. Now, you could get all those games separately. I know Sonic CD still is to this day on the PS3 shop. So, you could get those games via virtual consoles and all that. Sonic 1 and 2 have been re-released on everything. They're literally on everything. So, it's not like it was impossible to ever play it before, and people could easily play these games on their computers, right, their PCs, so it was not like it was impossible to ever play them, but it was nice that they went out of their way to make a collection of the older Genesis games. Now, this was also mainly done to coincide with the new audience that they were getting from the movies, and they're like, well, hey, we've got a new crowd coming in from the movies, let's put out this collection with all the older games so that way they can play them. Which is a smart decision. It is a smart decision, and it's a smart business decision to really do remasters of games that are quite years old and just bring them to the modern ones. I can understand the point behind a remaster. I really can, especially if it's a remaster of a game people want, and it is over 10 years old, and it's yeah, we can bring this over to modern consoles. A perfect remaster to me is one where you just polish it, right? You take a lot of the stuff that didn't work so well, gameplay mechanic wise in the last one. You tweak those, and then you give it a fresh coat of paint. You kind of spruce up the graphics a tiny bit. But other than that, the game is pretty much the same. That is what a perfect remaster should be. And I feel like we've done that. Definitely with Generations. Generations was definitely that. They did edit lines in Generations, which I don't like. Most of the lines I do enjoy, where they kind of try and bring the world of Sonic more in line, like Sonic mentioning Green Hill Zone, Tails mentions the chemical plant, all that type of stuff. I enjoy those lines. You're bringing the world together. Sonic mentions the time stones, right? It's bringing the lore of Sonic together. Those changes I don't mind. I hate the change. The big one I hate was Amy Rose. What they did with Amy in that game, I hate that. I've made videos, and I got hate for hating on the Amy Rose generation changes, which didn't need to be changed. I've touched upon this enough, but I'll touch on it again. Them changing Amy Rose, the excuse that was given was, well, she's not like that anymore. She's grown as a character. Yeah, she has. In the newer games. Her character growth from being a Sonic fangirl who's like, I'm gonna marry you, Sonic, right? Her growth from that, you have to show how she used to be so then you can see the growth. You can see the character progression. If you go back in time and say, well, she was always like this, then there's no character growth. It's editing the past to match the present, but you don't need to do that. because we are in the present now. That's in the past. We can move forward for the future and be different, right? That's what I hated the change. With Sonic, they removed the scene where Sonic palms her to stop her from grabbing him, which I always thought was funny. And then they removed the scene where she sends Knuckles flying into the tree. Right? Now that one I don't care too much about. That one can go away. It's fine. The Amy one's, the palm one, I'm like, come on now. She's just awkwardly standing there with cupcakes and he's ignoring her. You know, like, the other one was funny because it's like, he does this every day. So he palms her without even looking because he's used to this. This is how it is every day for them. Yeah, and then they went and changed her bio too. Now that's Western localization, alright? That's the Western freaks doing that crap, okay? They just did it with Mario and Peach, where they said they were friends. Shut up. Because if you check her Japanese bio, it's the correct one. So, yeah. But going over now, what could be remastered? I think the big one everyone expects is Unleashed. That's the big one everyone expects. Everyone expects Sonic Unleashed to be the next remaster. I'm all for it. I am all for bringing Sonic Unleashed to modern consoles. Sonic Unleashed is a great game. I have Unleashed on PS3. It's great. The fact that I have to turn on my PS3 to play it, though, is the problem. I would love for a modern port of Unleashed. Now, there was Unleashed recompiled earlier this year, which was a great thing. Right? That showed you how Unleashed can truly look with modern technology. The way Unleashed recompiled looks, dude, this game looks like it was made today, right? Like, that is great. Like, everything about that looks great, and they made a couple tweaks to the like the options and settings and all that kind of make the gameplay better. Like, you can turn off the Werehog music, thank God. You know, like, they did stuff like that to where that's what a remaster of this game would be, right? And I hope Sega takes notes of that. And if Unleashed is going to be what the next remaster is, then they pretty much just do what Unleashed Recompiled did for consoles. That's pretty much what we can all hope for. Now, a reason that a lot of people think Unleashed is coming soon is because there's been a lot of Unleashed love recently. And there really has, right? We had the introduction of Professor Victoria, and we went back to the university, right, from Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Racing Crossworlds has quite a lot of Sonic Unleashed love. There's Market Street as a map. There is Holoska as a map as well. Like, there's a lot of Unleashed love. There's Dragon Road. Like, there's a lot of Unleashed love in Crossworlds when previously Sega didn't talk about Unleashed. Now they're really talking about Unleashed again, right? And they plan this out, right? Like, all their stuff is planned out years in advance, so they know what they're doing, right? So they plan this all out. So the fact that there's a lot more Unleashed love now does make a lot of people think, oh, Unleashed is coming for a remaster, right? There was also Bowling for Soup, the band that did Endless Possibilities, just randomly dropped a new version of Endless Possibilities. Everyone's like, huh? You know, like, stuff like that. I believe there's been some Sonic Channel art that featured Chip recently or something, and that got a lot of people going, huh? You know, like, stuff like that. So, because of all that, you know, people are like, oh, the next Sonic remaster will be Unleashed. And it was, it's been, like, discovered that the slogan for next year's 35th anniversary campaign they're going to do is Unlimited Possibilities. So that made people go, huh? You know, I believe it was found on a sticker album from Chile that had Unlimited Possibilities as a sticker, and then people found images of the, like, a full-on, like, promo for the calendar where we found the new Sonic render and we found the 35th anniversary image with the Master Emerald in the back. One of the calendar pictures says Unlimited Possibilities on it. So, like, that has people going, come on, Endless Possibility, Unlimited Possibilities next year could be a Sonic Unleashed remaster, and they're revving up to it. I'm for it, like I said. All I hope is, like I said, I want it to be like Unleashed Recompiled. You just take Unleashed Recompiled and just port that, whatever that is, over to console. That's essentially what I want. I don't want them to be redubbed. I would not want Unleashed to be redubbed. I want it to stay the OG cast, because that's what they've done with Colors. With Colors, they redubbed Kate Higgins with Colleen, I believe. I believe Colleen redubbed Kate Higgins' lines in Colors. She definitely did in Generations. In Generations, they completely redubbed everything, right? All the old voice cast, like all the characters who had their voices changed in the past coming years, were redubbed. Like Bryce Papenbrook was now Silver in the remaster, right? Colleen is now Tails in the remaster, right? Like Davey Mitchell is now Knuckles in that one, right? Like they redubbed over the old actors. I would not want you to do that with this. Sonic Unleashed is the last mainline game we have with Jason Griffith. His last game was, I believe, Black Knight. And this is, I think, when people started to, like, I believe this is when, like, most people agree Jason got it for this one. This was when he was, like, fully locked in and was getting that Sonic voice down. And he even gave a great performance. And he hurt his fucking throat doing it, too, because he was sick when he was recording these lines. But he did it for us, damn it. He knew we needed to make that deadline, and he did these voice lines with a destroyed throat for us. Good on him. Respect that for that man for that. I would not want this dubbed. I would not want this dubbed with Roger as Sonic. I don't want you to change any of the lines like you did with Generations, because you'd probably find some way to make it fucking worse, to be honest with you. You probably would. Knowing the English Sega team that's in charge of Sonic, you'd probably find a way to fuck this up. So I would not want you to touch a damn thing. I want you to tweak gameplay mechanics and the visuals. You leave that story alone, because Unleashed is a great story, and I don't want you to touch a goddamn thing. So, I think Unleashed as a remaster, it's almost a certainty at this point. It's just a matter of when does it come out. That really is the debate. Now, I'm recording this in 2025, so by the time this comes out, it might have already been announced. If it is, great, super excited. If it isn't, we'll continue hoping for it. The next one I have is Sonic Lost World. I know it's not the best game, okay? Like, let's be honest. We all know it's not the best game. But for a remaster, just to get it off the Wii U, because it's stuck on the Wii U forever. I think you can buy it on Steam too, but in console-wise, it's stuck on the Wii U. Alright? Like, let's bring that sucker over. Like, come on. Like, Colors was stuck on the Wii. We can at least bring Lost World over to modern consoles. Okay, I understand, not a good game, it's not, but, and we'd have to deal with the Deadly Six again, which wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy, but, we can bring it over out of Wii U purgatory, because that's where it is. It's stuck in the Wii U purgatory. Now, if you want to rewrite this game, I wouldn't have a fucking problem with it. In fact, I think you can completely remake this game from the ground up, actually. But if you want to do your changing lines in this one, you can do that, because the lines in this game are fucking corny, just like Colors. I think you could redo some lines for this one, and I wouldn't actually have a problem. Maybe you can make the Deadly Six seem a lot more intimidating, because they're doing that now. For all his faults, Ian Flynn knows how to make the Zeddy seem terrifying, So he could do it again. I would be all for it, Ian, if you could make the Zeddy not fucking losers. That'd be sweet to make me care about them. That'd be nice. So Lost World, I would definitely do. Gameplay wise, I don't know how you can fucking tweak this. Maybe make the controls just a lot better, but it operates so differently from a normal Sonic game, right? Like, it operates. The gameplay of this game is so different that I don't know what tweaks you could really make, other than just make the controls better. That's all I can really say. Obviously spruce up the graphics, because it's stuck on the fucking Wii U. So actually give it good graphics for a change. And yeah, I think this one could definitely do with a big old Generations remaster, right? Another one I got. This is a old game now. We're going to the 2D games. Knuckles Chaotix is nowhere to be found. Good luck finding this fucker. This game is never re-released on any collection. If you don't have an OG Sega 32X, you ain't playing this shit. Well, physically that is. You can obviously find it online somewhere. But, you know, like, this game's never released. Ever. And I understand because it wasn't that big of a success, right? But think about what this game does and the impact. It introduced us to the Chaotix, right? Vector, Espio, Charmy are there. It was a Knuckles game, right? It was like Knuckles got his own game at this point. We got Mighty's in there too. So that'd be nice. So it would be nice, I think, to re-release this. Yeah, sure, it's not the best playing game, let's be honest. But the fact that, like, you re-released the Game Gear games in Sonic Origins Plus. You released the Game Gear games again, and most of those suck. You won't do Knuckles Chaotix? Really? Like, come on, man. What I would want from a remaster is... well, obviously, fix that fucking ring mechanic, right? Because the having to be connected by the rings is a choice of a mechanic, let's be honest. Maybe make it so that way it's not as messy and fucking buggy as it is. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe make it so that way you don't have to keep playing as Charmy B to cheese the game and get this game over with as soon as fucking possible. Make it so that way your level select isn't random, because it's random. Maybe make it so that way you can choose the level. That'd be a lot fucking nicer. Definitely give every character their own mechanic, which they kind of did in the OG, right? And finish the final level, because the Metal Sonic Kai boss fight is not finished. So I would finish that, please. But that, yeah, I would like to see Knuckles Chaotix re-released. That's what I definitely want. With all those fixes, I think something is there. Maybe the game could be a 6 if something was there. And I think a big one now, because now we're getting into kind of remake territory-ish. Well, before I even do that, let's talk about the handhelds, right? Let's talk about Sonic Rush and Sonic Advance games. Those games are stuck on their consoles too. I would love for a Sonic Game Boy collection. I would love that. Right? I made a video talking about like making a plea to bring the GBA games back to like consoles with a collection. I'd love that. The Sonic Advance Trilogy and Sonic Battle as a collection. That's money right there. People love the games. Do it. Absolutely do that. That's easy money. Again, also do the same. Sonic Rush collection. Bring the Sonic Rush games to consoles with a collection. People would eat it up. Everyone loves the Sonic Rush games. Like, do it. And if you're saying, oh, that can't work, Castlevania just had the Castlevania Advance collection where they released all the GBA games. So yes, it can work. It absolutely can work. You just have to try. Okay, so that if Castlevania can do it, we can do it with Sonic. Okay, so we can do a Sonic Advance collection and a Sonic Rush collection, and we're good. Maybe throw in Colors DS and Generations 3DS if you want. You don't have to. But definitely the original games for that for those handhelds, right? Definitely the Rushes and the Advances. Absolutely would do that. But now, getting into more remake-ish territory, Sonic Heroes has been the topic of, like, everything, right? Everyone has been asking for Sonic Heroes remake or remaster. At this point, it'd have to be a remake. It would have to be a remake. And if it's a remake, full on, we're gonna get, you know, new voice cast and everything, which I wouldn't be mad for Heroes getting a voice cast rechange. The reason I don't want it for Unleashed is because Unleashed has what I consider to be a lot of the definitive voices of the characters. Like, Jason Griffith as Sonic is the Sonic. Same thing with Lisa Ortiz as Amy, right? Like, that's like the voices, and I don't want that to be gone. Tails, maybe we get Colleen in for Tails, right? But, like, I don't want to get rid of Jason and Lisa, like, at all. For Heroes, I would not mind these characters getting their voices redubbed, especially because it's a remake, so the OG is still there. But I feel like Heroes could definitely work with a rewrite, making the script a lot more meatier and chunkier than what Heroes did. Because Heroes has good ideas, but it's very bare bones, so I would definitely appreciate a rewrite of Sonic Heroes, but we make it a lot more chunkier and meatier, and maybe Metal Sonic can be a lot more intimidating of a villain, you know? And maybe, at the end, when it's the final boss fight, Tails and Knuckles can actually go super instead of being in a bubble. And we can get Knuckles glowing pink and Tails with the cape, and we get Turbo Tails. I'm just saying, you know? And, besides that, also, gameplay-wise, Sonic Heroes it's not the best to control, let's be honest here. It's really not. The idea of it is great. Speed, flight, strength, characters as a team, and you gotta interchange between them. Makes total sense for me. That makes absolute sense. But I just think it wasn't executed properly, especially like the way it handles and controls. It's like, oh, dude, this thing can be a mess at times. So definitely, I would like for you to fix that. Absolutely, and a remake would be what we would have to get for this. Heroes definitely needs a remake, and a lot of people pointed to it because a lot of the stages in Heroes have been remade in recent games. I mean, you have Rail Canyon and Bullet Station from Shadow Gens. We have... Oh, freak. I'm trying to... I mean, we had the Metal Sonic boss fight from Shadow Gens, too, right? Ocean View is always remade for whenever there's a racing game, and we just had Sonic Racing Cross Worlds with a new Ocean View. So there we go. We have that one there. So that one's taken care of. I mean, Casino Park... Bingo Highway, that's easy. That's Roulette Road from Racing Crossworld. So that's good. Mystic Mansion, that's kind of Pumpkin Mansion from Crossworld. So we kind of got that one, right? We kind of got that one. And maybe the Egg Fleet Final Fortress. That does remind me of the Eggman course in TSR. So that one's also kind of done. They would have to work on something like Grand Metropolis, but even then, Grand Metropolis is kind of like the Eggman level in Sonic Dream Team, in a way. So that one's also kind of done. So they've pretty much got a good chunk of this done. And then the bonus stage was reused for, I believe it was Generations 3DS. They reused the bonus stage from Heroes for there. So, I mean, like, a lot of this game is pretty much already done, if you think about it. So it's like, I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to redo it when a lot of the levels are kind of already done. But I think, the main problem would be, gameplay mechanic-wise. How would this work gameplay-wise? They'd have to redo all that. But I feel like they could. I definitely feel like they could. So Heroes is the big remaster that a lot of people want to see. Of course, the question was asked about Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2 getting remakes, but Takashi Iizuka put the kibosh on that, saying that would take a whole lot of development time, and we would rather spend that time making a new game. Which, completely understand that. Why would you spend your time remaking a game from the past when you can just make a new game from the future and focus on that instead? I completely understand that, and Sonic's at the point where we can't slip up. A lot of people like to tell you Sonic's back, and he is coming back. He really is. The 3 movies have done well. Frontiers did well. Shadow Gens did well. Crossworlds is doing well. So we are on the up and up. He's getting back to being, getting sponsors with actual, like, big names and corporations and all that. So, like, Sonic's coming back, right? Paramount's all in, right? At time of recording, just announced a new spin-off movie after Sonic 4, right? And if Sonic 4 does well, which it probably will, we're going to get a Sonic 5, so that's after that, because if they're doing the spin-off movie, then there'll probably be a Sonic 5 after that. So Paramount's all in on Sonic, so Sonic's in good hands there. And while he is coming back, all it takes is one wrong move. It takes one wrong move for us to go back to how we were in the 2010s. One wrong move. One wrong move and we're back in the post-06 era and the meta era. We don't need that. He's fragile at the moment. Our boy is getting stronger. He's still frail. Still fragile. We have to make sure every move we take is perfect. We have to make sure. Then once we have established that Sonic is back and he is a core brand again, then maybe we can take the time to start remaking Adventure and Adventure 2, right? No doubt if they get remakes, right, they're gonna fucking blow up. Absolutely. Because people with past Sonic nostalgia will go back and buy these. So those would, without a doubt, sell a lot. But I do agree with Iizuka that Why would you spend that development time on something old when you can do it on something new and push the series forward? Completely understand that. Am I bummed there's no Adventure remakes? Not really. I'm not really bummed about that, because I still have the OG Adventures, and I can play them whenever I want. And, you know, there's that. So yeah, that is my little discussion here about remasters and remakes and all that type of stuff. Overall, I just want more Sonic games, really. And I definitely would appreciate taking some of the games that are on the older consoles that are a bit more harder to get and bring them to newer ones, because that makes it, again, more accessible to people. So that's it for me. What do you think is most likely the next Sonic remaster? And let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.